talk about everything, play music in between. Tune in and enjoy Chad's underground scene. Talking music, you know what I mean. Tune in and enjoy Chad's underground scene.
Hello, it's great to be here. Welcome to Chad's Underground Scene with my special guest today, Jacob Cohen. How are you doing? How's it out here in the OC? Right? We're in OC?
We're in OC, man. It's great.
Sweet. And live music is back, so I am relieved and I'm happy about that.
I'm stoked to be playing again. This is really a great thing.
Yeah, and you've been playing some live gigs, so tell us a little bit about that.
I've been playing at Back Alley Bar and Grill. Fantastic place. I highly recommend going there. I've recently released an album. I'm recording artists in my studio, where we're at right now. We'll show some more pictures of the studio as this video goes on.
Right, yes, and we get some beautiful guitars behind us. This is an awesome place. I recorded a album here and spent quite a few hours hanging in this room.
Hell yeah. It came out pretty good too, though, right?
Yeah, I liked it, yeah. So I'd like to start, we'll start with a song by you. This one here is called Hanging with the Homies.
Chilling with the Homies.
Or Chilling with the Homies.
Chilling with the Homies.
This song here is called Chilling with the Homies.
We don't just hang, we chill, you know?
That's it, okay.
Okay, you ready?
And here we go.
Cause that's after the magnifying glass up and listen to the sounds around you. Reverberant throughout the wild, life is an echo, it repeats itself all the time. Just another sound wave falling from the waterfall. The water hits a rock and it splashes your face and you stop and say, hey man, life is so good, cause I'm one with you. I ain't got a care in the world. All I need is this mother earth to keep the sleep of sounds. After all, we're all just leaving leaves down by the river being blown in the breeze, and I'm one with you. Life is good. Chillin' with the homies. Laid back, laid back. Letting our minds go, body, soul intertwined. Who are you? Who am I? Who is God? And where do we start this game we all call life? I love you guys cause you're always there. I love you guys, please don't despair. Trees are growing larger, growing larger. Trees are growing larger, larger than life. We're on cloud nine, overlooking that whole town. We're on cloud nine, ain't nothing bringing us down. Because one with you, I know it's true. Because one with you, I know just what to do. Chillin' with the homies. Life is good, life is good. Chillin' with the homies. Lay back, lay back.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about the, you recorded that on an album.
Yeah, the album's called Perception by my band Cosmic Vibe Tribe. You can look us up at cosmicvibetribe.com. A link to my Facebook page and a link to my band's website will be in this video, I hope.
Yes, yes, and you also did an album called Power of Love, right?
Power of Love too. I have 2 albums out. Both of them are really fun, really cool, really down to earth. All about love, nature, friendship, you know, just happy. It's a very happy album. Both of them are very happy albums.
Yeah, that was a sound, and from the looks of it, it was kind of a journey for you, right?
Yeah.
Writing that album and putting it all together.
Yeah, and this was actually, what I just played was on my Yamaha 12-string, which is one of my favorites to play because it just sounds so rich.
Yeah, it's got a sweet sound to it. I like it.
Yeah, it was a steal too. Jim's Music hooked it up, and they're in Orange County, so just a shout out to them.
And I know I recorded an album here, and I used some of these guitars up on this wall here, and that bass.
Yeah,
that I just used is on the record, so pretty cool stuff.
My grandma actually got me that bass before she passed, so there's so much sentimental value with that.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's on that album now. Every time you hear it.
Every time I hear it, I think of my grandma. You
Awesome.
know? Bless her soul.
Awesome. I'm honored to be able to be part of that. That's great. All right, so here's a song that was on the album that I recorded here. This one here is called Hypocrite.
It's in A major, correct?
Yes.
Actually, let me bounce over to my Taylor.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so we have a double Taylor action going on here.
Heck yeah. Oh, I'm back in the frame.
Right on. This one here is called Hypocrite. Mix your thoughts, mix your words. Never listen and never heard you make a scene, and you never listen. This is the only question: what to do or where to go. You're always late and you never show. You think you are so hip. You say you're not a hypocrite. You think you are so hip. You say, well, you make things up, you tell a lie. Now it's time for you to fly. You think you're full, and now we know. You get caught, you're at the end. We all know you're not a friend. We know the game, now it's time to go. You think you are so hip. You say you're not a hypocrite. You think you are so hip. You say. show me how you're so damn smart. Now you're all alone. You will never find a home. You're selfish, yeah, you're on your own. Long enough, now it's time to go. We think you are so hip. You say you're not a hypocrite. You think you are so hip. You say you think you are so hip. You say you're not a hypocrite. You think you are so hip. You say. Nice. So that was an experience, right? Recording that album was pretty cool. It was during the end or toward the end of COVID.
Yeah.
So it was just you and I in here, and then later when things cleared up a little bit, we brought Dave in to do some guitar.
Dave did some killer work.
And and it's
what was the name of that album?
In My Head.
In My Head.
In My Head. So
have you showed them? Have you promoted in My Head at all?
A little bit. It just came out last month. So
yeah.
So go out and find In My Head. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it anywhere. CD Baby. You can go to my website and find it. It's a cool album. We recorded several songs, and we put 8 on the album, and then I get a single, and then also a Christmas song.
Yeah, the Christmas song was a lot of fun, and it's Christmas time, so
yeah. So that's you'll be hearing that soon.
And just like he said, my album Perception and The Power of Love are on Spotify, SoundCloud, literally Amazon, literally every service you can imagine, it's there. Power of Love was recorded by Jacob Cohen, which was a solo project, and Perception's the album. That was recorded with me and my buddy Pablo, and the artist name for that is Cosmic Vibe Tribe.
Cosmic Vibe Tribe, cool.
And if you guys want some killer t-shirts, some killer merchandise, it's pretty trippy, it's pretty psychedelic, it's very colorful. There'll be a link to our Etsy, my Etsy page. If you guys just want some cool underground merchandise, this would be
cool. And Etsy's a good place to go for
Etsy's great.
In fact, during that I get these super cool masks on Etsy.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning of COVID, I got some cool masks that had my band's name, and I went back later, couldn't find them. They were manufactured way too well, because I still have them to this day, and they're still in good shape. It's
awesome.
amazing. And I go, I got to get some more of these, and I go back and I can't find those same ones. Now they're at little different angles. These were square. They were perfect. They were great. And then they peeled open to cover your whole face.
That's awesome.
They were awesome. Yeah.
So hopefully masks are going down, but if safety keeps on the way it is, I mean, maybe you should buy some masks off Etsy from either Chad or me. I have masks up on Etsy too. You know, none of us like to wear them, but
and stay prepared, right?
Yeah, but you know.
So let's talk a little bit about the recording. That was, I guess it was maybe almost a year project, right?
Yeah,
maybe at least 8 months project.
Yeah, it was a pretty big project.
So it started out just you and I sitting in here and laying down basic tracks for the songs.
Yeah.
And
so what I do is something that I do for my musicians to make it a little bit more comfortable recording is instead of recording to a click, I just put on a drum beat that's just like 1 and 2 and so it's super comfortable. It's not awkward recording to tick 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 tick. Gives you more feeling. Overall end result is much better. Yeah, we recorded with a Scarlett 18920 audio interface and my Focusrite ISA2 preamp and my Pro VLA2 compressor.
So during the recording, we started with just him and I. We sat there and did basic tracks, and each song we went through it with a fine-tooth comb, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. Actually, some of them we just went quick. But we laid those tracks down, and then I started doing some vocals. So we had a scratch vocal to go with.
Yeah.
And then about that time, things were clearing up a little bit, and we felt a little safer. So Dave came in and he started doing some lead tracks.
Yeah, basically, the technique behind the recording I did with both Chad and Dave was laying down scratch tracks that set up like a template for the song. And then once you have your template down and you have your markers saying like intro, verse, chorus, it was just really easy to go through and just record the actual guitar tracks, which was a lot of fun. Chad and Dave were both great on their instruments. Took Chad like maybe 1 or 2 takes to get his guitar down. Dave was a little bit more selective, I guess is the
Yeah,
word.
a little longer, and then he's playing lead tracks.
He's doing lead tracks that he's
a little
just
more
jamming.
complicated.
He's just jamming and improvising on the spot. So we did we went through a few takes, and we chose our favorite ones.
Yeah, and it came out pretty well. And then we did some vocals and backup vocals.
Yeah, Dave did some killer background vocals.
Right. Yeah, and then amazing. We came out with a pretty good record out of it, and then it went to the mixing.
Yeah, then
So-
I went to mixing and.
Tell us a little bit about the mixing process, because early on you mixed some songs, and then you had some different equipment you added in.
Yeah.
And then you remixed everything.
Yeah, basically the trick to mixing is finding that sweet spot for all of the instruments. So every instrument has its own frequency. So the money zone is 1 to 4 kilohertz. That's a trick out there for any of you young producers, sound engineers. What you do is you cut around 1 to 4 kilohertz on every instrument, except for the vocals most of the time, because vocals are what you're trying to highlight. And if you're trying to highlight the vocals, you boost at 1 to 4 kilohertz, and it just cuts through the mix. It sounds super rich, super in your face, just beautiful sounding. And yeah. We actually didn't even use auto-tune on the record because Chad just nailed the vocals.
And I kind of like it natural. Even
Yeah.
if some of it's a little out of key, I like it has a feel to it that works.
But the thing is with my new knowledge that I've gained, I finished my Pro Tool courses. You can actually choose to create imperfections in the song so that it doesn't sound so mechanical. So if I'm playing like, obviously I went out of time, but what I can do is I can go through and make that perfectly in time. But some people say that's too mechanical, and the trick is
I kind of like
the trick is
feel
this
of it.
little tab called randomize or random, and you can choose from 0 to 100% how much to screw up the timing.
Oh, nice.
So it sounds like a real musician, you know.
So that's for the engineers to do.
Yeah, that's a great feature.
I just
in
play
Pro
the
Tools.
music.
That's a great feature in Pro Tools.
So I'm happy to say, after a year-long process of the recording and mixing, mastering, and putting everything together, I've released the album this year. So
Yeah.
so we have an album, and it's out there to be found. So that's an awesome thing, and it's all brand new songs. I did a couple covers of my own songs, and one
Yeah.
cover tune on the album, which is Shark Attack, and it was pretty good timing because I was able to do a tribute to the band that made this song. So Surf Punks, You Rule, and and Drew Steele, we're gonna miss you. So the Drew Steele, he passed away this year. So there's only there's only a couple of Surf Punks left. But I will always go back to that record, and well, actually they have like 3 records, and really enjoy those records.
And what I did for Chad was I made my mixes, and before I mastered them, I sent them to him for his input on what he wanted, and I was able to make some very small adjustments that he wanted, and the songs came out even better.
Yeah, until we finally got it right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you
So
do,
great.
if you are inspired by my music, or you like what I'm saying, I will go through and make sure you love your mixes before I master them. You know, that's something I do. I really go above and beyond with my clients. Prices are cheap. I do about like $100 a song, which in today's market is killer, because I talk to a lot of other sound engineers and producers, and they're going like charge about $1,500 a song. I'm like, I'd rather just make less money and love what I'm doing.
And make a good record, yeah.
Yeah, and make a good record.
So let's hear another song. This is another song by Jacob Cohen. This one is called Moonlight. Tell us a little bit about it.
This is Moonlight. It's off my album, The Power of Love. It's about finding your love and just fleeing from society and finding your own self just outside of the constructs of today's society. And it's called Moonlight, so there's a couple cool lines. They used you like a pawn on a chessboard, and that's just how society plays us. And this song is really about just getting away. It happens to be at nighttime, so the moon's shining down on us, guiding us through this pathway.
Nice, yeah.
And this is a dedication to my girlfriend Scarlett.
And there's been a few playing on us things going on the last few years. So.
Yeah, and
let's look at the moonlight and follow a better path.
And it's about, we want to move to Humboldt. It's about how we're gonna find ourselves and just kind of isolate ourselves from society and just make music and just enjoy nature and just live without all the pressure of living in Orange County,
Yeah.
It's a pretty,
Sounds beautiful to me.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Yeah, we'll be there soon enough. But until we're up there, Orange County fans, come check me out. All right, so here's Moonlight. We live our lives in a path that we find. With wolves we fly until we one day die. Won't you walk down this path with me and hold my hand so we can share it? And now we're walking down the path with the moon over our back. It's shining away, it's gotten away. Where will it take us to? And society gave us the rules to live and abide by. And they use you like a pawn on a chessboard, with you standing next to me. It's all moonlight, and now we're walking down the path with the moon over our back. It's shining away, it's gotten away. Where will it take us to? Where you taking me to? Where you taking me? Where you taking me to? The stars will only know. And now we're walking down the path with the moon over our back. It's shining away, it's gotten away. Where will it take us?
Nice, that's beautiful. Love that. Really enjoyed that. So let's talk a little bit about, you wrote a book.
I did in fact write a book.
About playing music.
It's about, it's music theory for the modern guitar player, and it just makes it so simple. Literally, I can change the way you think about music in 15 minutes. I tested my mom. She knows nothing about music theory. In 15 minutes, she was able to tell me that an A major scale was A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. And she's like, Jake, what did I just do? And I'm like, you spell an A major scale. That's how easy it is.
Nailed it.
She nailed it, you know? And she could do it with E major, D major, G major, B flat major. It's just a really simplistic approach. It's a beautiful book. I highly recommend it if you are an intermediate or an advanced level player. Some people trash talk music theory, but my thing is that it's just a tool in your tool belt. Why would you not want to learn it? It's like saying like, oh, I don't like hammer-ons because they're silly. You know, it's just you're not always going to use music theory, just like you're not always going to use a hammer-on.
Right. Yeah.
But sometimes,
especially if you're not into metal.
but sometimes the hammer-on, you know, just sounds really cool. So I highly recommend the book. It's just another tool in your tool belt. It goes for $20 on Amazon. It's called The Ultimate Guitar Bible by Jacob Cohen.
So what gave you the idea to write the book?
Well, what gave me the idea to write the book was, like I said before, I was in college, and I had a buddy who was like, Jake, you're so good at just playing the right notes all the time. How do you do it? And I'm like, well, music theory. And he was like, teach me. And so I started handwriting all these notes on just random leaves of paper. And I was I had a good 20-25 pages of material. And I was talking to another buddy, and he was like, dude, it sounds like you're writing a book. I'm like, I'm not writing a book. And he's like, dude, you're writing a book. And, you know, that's how it evolved. And then, you know, A plus B equals C. Book got written, got self-published, sold a good number of copies. Everyone who's bought it is just stoked, you know? I'm a guitar, bass, drum, ukulele teacher, and all my guitar students love the book.
So tell us a little bit about maybe some of the different artists that have come in here to record.
Some of the different artists that
Because you've had, it sounds like, completely different styles come in here to do some recording.
Yeah, I recorded this artist. Her name was Alexandra. She is an awesome person. She is a ukulele player, and she just has her own style. She has her own grooves. Hopefully by the time this gets up, my website will be up and running, and you'll be able to listen to samples of different artists that have recorded with me. Right now the business is flowing in. COVID's dying out. People have been cooped up, and they have all these songs that they've been doing, and they're just ready to record. And I have a professional recording studio. I've got the control surface. We'll look at all the gear a little bit later, but I have everything you need in the studio to record just an amazing album. Chad recorded a year ago, and I probably had half the gear then.
Yeah, than you have now, right?
Yeah, and now it's a bitchin' setup. So if you're local, or if you want to make the trip down or up or east or west, well, I don't know if we can really go from,
That's right.
from the west unless you're floating on an island.
Well, a little bit, yeah, a little bit west. Catalina, right?
But so yeah, and Chad's album came out great, and I've only gotten better. I finished my Pro Tools classes. And
I'm amazed. You are our future for music because you're young, right? So we need a lot more young people to jump in and play and become engineers, become producers.
Yeah.
And keep music alive, right?
Exactly.
It's great to reminisce, but it's better to hear new stuff.
Yeah.
This is my view. That's why I do the underground scene, right? Because
I thank you
that's
so
where
much
it all starts, right?
Thank you so much for having me on your show, Chad. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so we're going to switch around over to the other side so you can see a little bit more of the studio, enjoy the guitars, and then you'll be able to enjoy all of the equipment that's on the other side of the studio. And then there's a nice little picture on the wall. We might get that into the photo before we play our next song.
We should definitely get that picture in there. Welcome to JC Studio, and I'll give you a little explanation on how I do the magic behind the scenes with this puppy, which is the heart of my recording process. So Chad, let me run you through what each device here does. To start off, this is my AI, or an audio interface. What it does is it takes analog sound, which is sound you hear, and converts it into digital, which is a waveform on the computer screen. So that's what an AI does. And then I have some more gear. I have a compressor, I have a preamp, which all just really makes the sound more rich, more live-like, and it balances everything. I mean, this stuff is complicated, but in layman's terms, it just makes it sound better. It just makes it sound cleaner. It makes the volumes equal. It adds color. It adds texture. And this is my newest addition, which is my patch bay, which is kind of similar to, you remember those old movies where the telephone operators were putting cables from one place to another?
Yeah, it's the same thing, right?
It's the exact same thing. So I'm using my patch
instead
bay.
of phones, it's effects.
Instead of phones, it's effects. Exactly. So I can route something coming from an AI into my preamp and record it.
And then these are your monitors. Tell us a little bit about.
Oh, these are Rocket 6, and I don't know if we're in the picture, but there's a Yamaha HS8 sub down there. I got my second monitor screen. This is also a new addition, my PreSonus fader port. This is what you see in professional recording studios, where you can just slide the volumes up and down.
And then here is this was the vocal booth. We spent a lot of time singing into this microphone. So tell us a little bit about how that works. This is
a
nice setup.
This is a beautiful setup. This is a Rode NTK. Like I said before, my grandma sometimes contributed to the studio, and she bought me this microphone. Here, let me see if I can drop this down. Whoops. And there you can see the microphone. You can see the microphone, right? Cool. And what this puppy does right here, it's called a pop filter. So when you're singing into a microphone and there's certain syllables that create a pop sound, like pop, pop, pa, park. And what this does is it causes a spike in the waveform. And what a pop filter does is it filters out that pop, so there's no harsh.
And somehow during our recording, I was able to create pops through that filter. We did get to the bottom of it and we fixed it, but it was
So there was some bleed through, and what we ended up doing is we put a low pass filter on, which cuts out the high end, and that got rid of it. So that was easily done through EQ and a little bit of compression.
Cool. So I hope you enjoyed our little tour of the studio here.
Yeah, this is JC Studio. My Rocket 6s. These are beautiful monitors. I have my big knob right here, which helps me control volume, and it lets me send my signal into different speakers. These are my little Logitech little $15 speakers.
Yeah, so several episodes back, I had a guest on, Clive Farrington, and he had the big knob. And we did a couple songs in his studio and sang, and he used that.
Yeah, the big knob's a lot of fun.
He loves it. He's like, this is the best.
Yeah, makes your life so much easier.
And can you tell us a little bit about your photo here of Dylan?
Oh, Bob Dylan?
Because I'm setting up for the song we're going to play all you.
Bob Dylan, whenever I'm recording or songwriting, Bob Dylan's looking down at me, and if there's anyone I want to emulate when it comes to lyrics and originality and just style, Bob Dylan's one of them.
And something interesting about, he's holding a bass here.
Yeah, you never would have thought that Bob Dylan played the bass, but he does.
Yeah. And if you look at a lot of songwriters are bass players. He's a bass player. Tom Petty was a bass player. A lot of songwriters were bass players, and you never would know it, because when they get out in public and they're playing live, a lot of times they end up playing a rhythm guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what people like to see, the singer playing a guitar, right?
Yeah.
Plus, the bass player can play a lot more if he's not singing.
Sure did.
And make it a better cut. Okay, so we're going to do a little shot of us playing a song from one of our favorites, Bob Dylan. Little Bob Dylan for you. This one is Knocking on Heaven's Door. Take this badge from me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Feel like knocking on heaven's door. Knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Mama put my guns in the ground. I can't use them anymore. That long black cloud is coming down. Feel like knocking on heaven's door. Knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Just take it, Jacob. Take this badge from me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Feel like knocking on heaven's door. Knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Guitar. Guns in the ground. All right.
Hell yeah.
All right. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. I'd like to end the show with a song from Out of My Head. This is a video called The Snake Song. And I'd like to thank my guest, Jacob Cohen, for coming on the show, coming on Chad's Underground Scene. So remember, It all starts in the underground. Enjoy the video.
Let me feel the light. It ain't right. Long live what I've been tonight. Voices in my head, they are real. Just don't understand, they can't feel. Gonna crawl under your skin. Told you no, you better let me in. Gonna crawl under your skin. Told you no, you better let me in. Well, she only had a belly and back, caught in the grass, put in a sack. Eyes so piercing, tongue so raw. Now we're watching you, eating it all. I'm gonna crawl under your skin. Told you no, you better let me in. Gonna crawl under your skin. Told you no, you better let me in. This is a song about a snake. Her love fell like a book off the shelf. Gonna cry for help. Her love fell like a book off the shelf. Gonna cry for help. Her love fell like a book off the shelf. Gonna cry. We talk about everything, play music in between.